We are living in an era of infinite distraction. Every time your phone buzzes, every time you refresh your feed, and every time you click next episode, you are pulling a slot machine lever in your brain. You are trading your attention for a microdose of a chemical that is slowly destroying your ability to focus. I realized recently that I wasn't just distracted, I was addicted. I couldn't watch a movie without checking my phone. I couldn't stand in an elevator for 10 seconds without needing a screen. My brain had lost the ability to just be. So, I did something drastic. I initiated a 7-day dopamine detox. No social media, no YouTube, no gaming, no junk food. I wanted to see if I could reset my brain. What I found was terrifying, boring, and ultimately life-changing. Here is exactly what happened, the science behind the withdrawal, and how you can reclaim your mind. Welcome back to Mindcrafted. Today, we are confronting the dark truth of our modern habits. We are drowning in cheap dopamine. Now, before the neuroscientists in the comments attack me, I know, you cannot literally detox from dopamine. It is a neurotransmitter essential for movement, motivation, and survival. You would be dead without it. When we say dopamine detox, what we really mean is a break from hyperstimulation. It's a form of cognitive behavioral therapy known as stimulus control. Here is the science. When you constantly flood your brain with high-intensity triggers, your receptors downregulate. You become numb. The things that should feel good, like reading a book, finishing a project, or talking to a friend, start to feel boring because they don't provide that massive spike. By removing the high-intensity triggers, we lower our tolerance so that normal, difficult tasks become satisfying again. I spent 7 days running this experiment. I'm going to share the strict rules I set, the withdrawal symptoms that almost made me quit, and the sustainable system I'm using now that the week is over. If you want to do this, you can't just try to use your phone less. Willpower is a finite resource. You need strict boundaries. Here were my rules for the week. The no list. No social media. I deleted Instagram, X, TikTok, and Reddit. No digital entertainment. No Netflix, no YouTube, no video games. No junk food. No processed sugar or takeout, as these trigger the same reward pathways. No music with lyrics. Only lo-fi or classical for work. But here is the mistake most people make. They remove the bad stuff, but don't plan for the void that leaves behind. If you just stare at a wall, you will fail. So I created a yes list. Low stimulation activities to replace the scrolling. Reading physical books. Walking without headphones. Journaling. Deep work sessions. I also used friction to my advantage. I didn't just rely on self-control. I put my phone in a drawer in another room during work hours. As research suggests, if the trigger isn't visible, the craving is significantly lower. So the stage was set. Monday morning arrived. And honestly, I was arrogant. I thought this would be easy. Day 1 was weird. I woke up and my hand immediately reached for the nightstand. The phone wasn't there. I felt a genuine phantom limb sensation, a physical reflex carved into my neural pathways. By 10 a.m., the boredom hit, and it wasn't a peaceful, zen-like boredom. It was an agitated, itchy boredom. This is what scientists call the dopamine deficit state. My brain was screaming for a quick hit of stimulation, and because I wasn't giving it any, I felt irritable, anxious, and strangely tired. I found myself walking to the fridge 5 times an hour. I wasn't hungry, I was just looking for a reward. Any reward. Day 2 was the hardest. This is the wall. I had a mild headache, likely from the lack of sugar and the sudden drop in constant dopamine spikes. I sat down to read a book, and I couldn't get through 2 pages without my mind wandering. I felt like a zombie. I wanted to check my email. I don't even like email, but I wanted to check it just to feel something. This is the scary part. You realize how much of your life is run by unconscious compulsions. I wasn't controlling my attention. My addiction to novelty was. If you try this, expect to feel worse before you feel better. You will be bored. You will be annoyed. That means it's working. Then, around day 4, something shifted. I woke up and I didn't reach for the phone. I made coffee and I just stood there and drank it. It sounds ridiculous to say, but the coffee tasted better. The silence wasn't irritating anymore. It was heavy and peaceful. The agitation was gone, replaced by a strange calmness. I sat down to work on a script, and I wrote for 2 hours straight. No tab switching, no checking stats, just deep, focused work. This is the reset in action. By starving the brain of cheap, high-intensity stimulation, the baseline for what feels rewarding drops. Suddenly, writing a document or reading a complex book doesn't feel like a chore. It feels engaging. I went for a walk without headphones. Usually, I need a podcast or music to survive a 30-minute walk. But this time, I just looked at the trees. I noticed the architecture of the buildings. I rediscovered the lost art of boredom. We treat boredom like a disease, but it's actually a tool. When you let yourself be bored, your default mode network activates. Your mind starts to wander, and that is where creativity comes from. I had more ideas for videos in those 2 days of walking than I had in the previous month of doom scrolling.
By the end of the week, the results were undeniable. Here is what happened after 7 days. 1. Mental clarity and focus. My brain fog evaporated. I could hold a single train of thought without it fracturing. It felt like upgrading my brain's RAM. 2. Better sleep. This was huge. Without blasting my retinas with blue light and cortisol-inducing news before bed, I fell asleep in minutes. My sleep tracking data showed deeper REM cycles and better recovery. 3. Presence. I went to dinner with friends on Saturday. Usually there's a lull in conversation and someone pulls out a phone. I didn't. I just listened. I felt more connected to the people around me because I wasn't half present, wondering what was happening on the internet. However, I also learned that this monk mode isn't entirely realistic forever. I missed some work messages. I felt a bit disconnected from the news. This brings us to the most important part. What happens next? A 7-day detox is great, but if you go back to your old habits on day 8, you wasted your time. It's like dieting for a week and then eating a whole pizza. The goal isn't to live like a caveman, it's to use technology intentionally. Here is the mind-crafted, sustainable plan I'm sticking to. 1. Digital sunset. No screens 1 hour before bed. This is non-negotiable for sleep hygiene. 2. The phone foyer rule. When I walk in the door, the phone stays in the entryway or a specific charging station. It doesn't come to the couch, and it definitely doesn't come to the dinner table. 3. Scheduled scroll time. I allow myself 30 minutes of social media a day, but it has to be scheduled. I control it. It doesn't control me. We have to fight for our focus. In an economy that profits from your distraction, paying attention is a revolutionary act. I challenge you. You don't have to do 7 days. Try 24 hours. Just one day without the cheap dopamine. See how much time you actually have. See how much clearer you feel. If you're going to try this, comment "focus" down below so I know who is with me. And if you want to see more experiments on how to build a better brain, make sure you subscribe. Don't let the algorithm live your life for you. Reclaim your mind. See you in the next one.